All right, it's getting closer to dark. You probably can't tell. This camera picks up pretty good. We're getting close, but ideally I would make this video when the sun is shining, just so you can see better. So I'm going to take my chances that you get to see it. It's the Husky 5000 project. This has always been for the last couple of years, my 3 cubic inch race saw, like 50cc class. Last time I ran into some problems, and hopefully she's fixed. So it was like lean, the throttle went haywire, we noticed the muffler went loose, like multiple issues, and the saw was running horribly. So I went over it. The muffler was just loose. Because we've seen all these loose thingies, we were thinking, what are the chances that the cylinder blew off, Well, it was just, the muffler just came loose. The carburetor, the reason it was moving around so much was because of the way, like the throttle linkage had failed, and it got in there in a manner to where when I pulled the trigger, it was putting a lot of stress on the carburetor and really twisting it sideways. So she's got brand new throttle linkage in it. And then the massive air leak or whatever that I thought I had turned out to be the impulse line failed. I have a custom made like impulse setup on this, and the impulse line itself failed. It's got like a hard turn on it, and the hard turn was enough that over a period of time it was enough to allow it to kind of like pop off. And so all I did was replace the impulse line, and whatever air leak symptoms and stuff should be corrected, because without an impulse you're lean and there's not really much you can do about it. And I was thinking an air leak, but I think that was it. The impulse literally just came off. I replaced it all together. So today I'm going to give it a quick test run here. We're working on a Johnson Ray 2159 50cc class race build to replace this one. And I do not know if this video is going to be coming out before the races. I'm going to have it in the bank. If it don't come out before the races, it don't come out, But I just kind of wanted to document this, saying, I was working on it, fixed it and all that stuff. And, well, hopefully I got it fixed, and we're going to make some test cuts. And this is basically a continuation, because the video we were working on was on the chain. And, I just have trouble with getting my 325 chain to cut well, and so this is going to be kind of like a continuation to make sure this chain cuts well. The last time the saw was struggling and all the sorts of stuff, and I think, like some people were thinking, maybe the bar might have been an issue and so forth. Let's see how it runs now before we make assumptions on the bar and so forth. You know what I mean? I'd like to get past this first. I don't think it was the bar. I don't. I think the saw was just severely lacking power because it just wasn't getting any fuel. That's what I think. So hopefully I'm right. Let's get her fired up. Stick her in a piece of wood here, and we're cutting onto a piece of oak here. And the only reason we're cutting this piece is because it's clean. So I should be able to cut this and not have to worry about sharpening my chain. The other end of this log is full of dirt, and if I would cut through that, then I'd have to sharpen my chain just in case I have to take this to the races. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's going to be this one or the 2149 yet. So we'll see how she goes. What do you say we get her fired up, make some cuts? And I'm going to have to tune this thing probably. I might have to tune this thing from scratch again. So keep that in mind as you see it cut. And I've mentioned previously in a video that I've built a few saws that do not 4-stroke. So if you're accustomed to hearing a saw 4-stroke to tell whether or not it's lean or rich or whatever, this saw does not 4-stroke. Oh, it will, but you're going to be so extremely rich by the time you get it to 4-stroke that the saw is going to be cutting at like half the RPM. That comes a lot from the way I ported it up. On the lean side, it won't 4-stroke at all. This is more about, you got to really be good at tuning and feeling the power in the cut, because it does not four-stroke. You just have to run it and test with it and find that tune. I've built a few saws like that. This one does that. I got a Partner 5000 that does that. I got a G366 that's like that. My 395, if you've been seeing videos on the 395, it does not four-stroke unless I'm extremely rich. So if you hear that saw four-stroking in a video, that means I am really extremely rich and it can be leaned out some. It's just the way that I have it ported. And then this Johnson Red 2149 I'm building, it's going to be the same way. I doubt it'll four-stroke at all either. It's just a method I have found that can help gain more power, but you got to really be good at your tune, because you can't rely on any of that four-stroke stuff to find your tune. You got to do it by feel. So, enough rambling. Let's make some cuts. If the shaky camera bothers you, you got to kind of, like when I was talking there, just got to deal with it for a little bit here. I broke my tripod. It'll only go up to about 3 feet tall right now. Till I get a new one in, we're just gonna have to deal with it. This has a, in case you're not familiar with it, it's a Husky, I call it a Husky 5000. It's a Husqvarna 50 that I put a Partner 5000 top end on, ported it up, turning it into like a race saw build. I like the 50 chassis more than the Partner 5000 chassis. Jakey, over here, buddy. So I like the Husqvarna 50 chassis more than the Partner 5000 chassis. It's a little less bulky. So if I had to do it again, I would do it with the 50 chassis. Just the Partner 5000 chassis is a little bit more bulky, and I prefer to go with these. The 50, 51, 55, any of them. I had a 50, so that's why I call it the Husky 5000, because it's a Husqvarna 50 with a Partner 5000 top end. All right, let's get her fired up. Oh, one more thing. We'll wait until after the video, or after the cutting. All right, that was oak we were cutting on. I'm going to this. This is cherry. This is the same wood we were cutting last time. It tuned up really fast, faster than I was anticipating. I just had to lean it out a tiny bit, and she tuned right up. So let's go ahead, see if we can plow into this cherry. And I ought to make sure this thing will hot start with the high idle on. So I need to make sure it'll do that for the races. So I got the original Husqvarna trigger lock still intact. I just engaged it. Let's make sure she starts. We want it to start on one pole, and then, you know, high ref. Cross your fingers. right. It's close enough for, I mean, like the low speed side is just a touch lean right now. I did fatten the high side up just a tiny nibble, and the low side is definitely just a tad bit on the lean side. But other than that, I'm good enough. I mean, I prefer to run them just a shade on the lean side at a race. So, you know what I mean. But other than that, I'd say this all is good to go. I think she has plenty of torque. I tried to show you kind of how much torque it has. I still think the chain could be better, but that's about as good as I can get right now, I think. I do think it could be better though. I think I'm just gonna leave it as is though, and we'll race with it like that, you know? So yeah, I'm happy with it. She's good to go. A couple of tiny tweaks on some tuning, but nothing major. You know what I mean? It's fine. When you show up at a race, you start it and you make 3 cuts. So if we run them just a touch on the lean side for a race, it's not gonna hurt nothing, you know? Nothing at all. And this saw currently has moto milk in it. At the last races, I put it on moto milk. So it's still running on moto milk. I don't notice a whole lot of difference with moto milk. I notice it's like some saws, you kind of notice it, and then others you don't. And I don't know why, you know what I mean? Like my home light, I'd put it in my home light and I could tell the difference. But a lot of my other ones though, I did not notice a difference. Now, one of the things I did notice a difference on is I switched bar oil. I switched to that DGP bar oil. Some of it was given to me. I think Bodie brought it and gave it to us whenever I had that event here in July. And I've been running that oil ever since. The thing I noticed with that oil is it is tremendously cleaner to run. You don't get as much of that oily mess on your saw with that oil. Because I've been running the Tractor Supply stuff. So, I mean, we're going from an $8 a gallon oil to a $35 a gallon oil. There's a bit of a difference, you know, but I'm probably going to stick with the DGP oil for all the race builds, and run the cheap stuff whenever I'm just running a lot of wood, you know what I mean? So I did pick up a gallon of it, and I'm just going to stick with the DGP oil for all the race builds. And I did notice how much cleaner it is, and it seems to be a little thinner. So I think the thinner stuff seems to pump out a little better. You know what I mean? It's not as tacky, like sticky tacky as the Tractor Supply stuff. But I don't know, there's something about it. I like it better. If it was a little cheaper, I would run it all the time. But as of right now, I'm just running it in the race builds. So yeah. But anyway, don't know when I'll get this video out to you, but the Husky 5000 is back up and running. We're good to race. She's pretty fast. She'll outrun most 550s. So if you've seen a lot of 550 videos, people running them, I can tell you, I mean, I know for certain it'll outrun a lot of 550s. The last race I went to, the chain was shot. So, you know what I mean? Chain will really hinder your performance. And now that I got her fixed up right, she's running great. I'm happy. And I can tell you, it will outrun a lot of 550s. So you guys that are racing against me with a 550, if I show up with that, better hope I screw up. Alrighty. Talk to you later.